Hey, hello everyone. Good evening. Seems weird to be saying good evening. I'm usually out and about doing this in the morning or in the afternoon. The sun's shining, but I thought I'd be different since this is a very different kind of tour. So uh, it'll probably get dark on me, so maybe it will lend something to the atmosphere, to the ambiance of this tour. Right? Everybody's been wondering what on earth is a zombie snowman? Say what? Well, you'll get to decide that for yourself. I am here to present the information as it was given to me. So, very easy, right? We still have a few minutes. Ooh, like four. What is this? Watch my fingers. What is this little thing up here? No, I don't know. Well, that's okay. Oh, Sarah, hello. Hello, how are you? How has your week been so far? Do you believe we're about to have another weekend? Man, time goes by like quick. It's ridiculous. Most like anyway. Oh, I'm trying to oh, Lynn from Chicago. Yes, there is a replay. It'll this it'll get posted on Facebook and also on YouTube. So yeah. Hey Judy, how are you? Oh, I have I do have this running on Facebook and also on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, like live simultaneously, like right now. So if you would hear me talking to people chatting, whose names aren't up here, that's because they're on YouTube while maybe you're on Facebook and you can't see each other's. That was something I discovered kind of recently, actually. And I had to do some exploring, some investigating because I was having trouble with this going live on Facebook. Everything else, went fine, YouTube and Twitter. Now Twitter doesn't get to talk, so oh yeah, Lynn, it'll be on there. Most definitely. I this is what's kind of nice about doing this on my own too. I get to keep copies of my stuff. That was not always the case. So, mm, I have a little bit of coffee here. It's actually a really nice night here today. It was a beautiful day. We had some chilly weather, and starting this week, it's been gradually warming up again. And so it's supposed to be like beautiful for the weekend, warmer and warmer, like 80 degrees by Saturday. Oh man, comfy Sarah. So they're um, 80 some degrees. So that was kind of nice. And then, or it will be come Saturday. And then Monday, the temperature is supposed to start dropping and go back to the regular, go back to normal. So we will see. So we're going to go live in a minute. Oh, there we are. We're live. Hmm. Okay, here I am, Sharon, also known as the Bay Lady, because I live in the Chesapeake Bay region of Maryland, and I love the Chesapeake Bay. I love the area. It's beautiful, it's interesting, and I like to show it. So here I am. Of course, Not showing off the day tonight. Not even close. Ha. Okay, so here's the deal. Um, I'm in Ellicott City now. Okay, and you may have seen my haunted Ellicott City tours. This is called one of the most haunted places in America, the most haunted place in Maryland. Um, this community is more active with paranormal activity than anywhere else. So, uh, supposedly, what the experts tell us is that there's three factors that contribute to the high volume of paranormal activity. And the first is that this town was founded in 1771 and it has seen a lot. It has seen a lot. It's gone through the Civil War, the War of 1812, the Revolutionary War. It's had sicknesses and plagues, and it's had uh, the elements destroy it by fire, by water, floods, all types of issues. Hey, Patricia, all types of issues. So, there has been a lot of death here. There has been a fair share of murders here, like anywhere else. And so there is that aspect, okay? A lot of reasons for spirits. But why should they be here? The granite in the water, okay? This place is made of granite, it's made of rock. There's rock everywhere, but it's a specific type found only here. There's 7 hills that surround Ellicott City, which kind of is nestled at the bottom of them along the river. Then the river is the other issue. The town was founded by the Ellicott brothers who wanted to have a mill town. And they needed a river, a powerful river, to generate power for their mill. And this was the perfect location. So there's a lot of talk about paranormal activities. There always has been. And as I said, I've done a few tours myself. So this is a bit different, however. This is paranormal, I do suppose. But let me show you. You know what? I'm going to move this back and give me some room. By the way, I am sitting in like the Ellicott City little town square. I'll show you in a minute, but first things first. All right, the legends of the zombie snowmen of Ellicott City. The zombie snowmen of Ellicott City. The book is by Jerry Lee Harlow and illustrated by his buddy, Wiley Perkay. Both of these gentlemen live here in the area. They're as familiar with Ellicott City as I am, I'm sure. And they reference a lot of local places and such. And this is their contribution to the otherworldly circumstances that are found in Ellicott City. Okay, let me read you the back first of all. This book is the first to openly discuss and bring to light the ancient legends and secrets that revolve around the zombie snowmen of Ellicott City. These pages will help to lift the veil of time and expose some of the hideous horrors and dark secrets which are spoken of only in hushed tones in the back rooms of the local bars. When the stories are told, it is only in a room with a blazing open flame in the fireplace, where strong grog is served, and brave men pray that the heat of the fire will ward off the cold white curse of the Patapsco Valley's most feared predators, the zombie snowmen. Getting dark, folks. Uh-oh. Okay, so here's one of the inside pages. Fresh brains wanted. You know zombies eat brains, right? The fresher, the better. And my copy is autographed by both the writer and the illustrator. Pretty cool. Here's another photo by Wiley. What does it say? An unusual early winter frost and snow produces an attack in the Merritt cornfields in 1886. Woohoo! Okay, then we've got the list, the table of contents. Okay. Oh, this is an awful looking guy. It says this is an 1891 watercolor that was discovered at an insane asylum. Oh, yay. Okay. I'm going to read you this. So, to understand this, Ellicott City is a charming mixture of the antique, the just plain old, quirky shops and restaurant experiences galore with great burgers and fries easily found, as well as international dishes and quaint coffee shops. The little town is truly a fun spot for weekenders, including for weekenders enjoying adult beverages, as well as a fun spot for the casual family walks around crowded sidewalks where they can do extensive window shopping and maybe buy a knickknack or two. An oddly quaint and attractive town, few people know the extensive history of the town. From the time of the Revolution into the horrors of the Civil War, and even the German POWs who worked Howard County farms. The history is an ebb and flow of time and events that have left their marks all over town. Behind me, you see the railroad station, by the way, the B&O Railroad Station. Let's see. And let's see. In recent years, with the higher tides of tourists, there have developed groups who have found a juicy story or two and turned those quirks of history into tales of ghosts and things that go bump in the night in an effort to spirit away some of the tourist dollars flowing into the town. History that is somewhat true and documented, more or less, seems to get lost easily. There is a road sign or two, some building plaques, and secret little passages here and there to document the tale of the town. And few folks, if any, will visit the Museum of the Howard County Historical Society in town, and history becomes a Google search when you get home. So, the ghost tour folks have free reign with history in the realm of the dead, capturing novel stories that are told again and again by the guides who are taught where the haunts exist in the old buildings and cemeteries. Ooh, I can attest to that. However, no individual or ghost or tour company has ever spoken of the true horror and the hidden history that has arisen from the ancient valley of the Patapsco River, giving birth to tales of horror that remain to this day. But no one speaks of it. No one who wishes to live we'll speak of it. Okay. So, the first quarter moon, it's an interesting, oops, interesting photo. Get over there. Okay. Oh, this is all backwards. Interesting. Okay. Okay. The mystery as to the yearly renewal of the creatures is totally unknown. And as far as the townspeople were concerned, they didn't want to know. Knowledge could lead to a horrible death. So it was best just to jaunt during the daylight hours and leave the valley as soon as the light began to fade. Oh, like now. Hmm. While digging through the Howard County archives, a tattered envelope was discovered, and when read, appeared to be a second-hand account of the birth of the creatures, written in a shaky hand, either of age or fright of thought. This is part of the letter. During the short time period of the new moon and the first quarter moon of the shortest month of the year, from the primordial mist deep within the valley, arising from the waters in calm pools or shallow flows, are the specters of cold terror, truly devils of a time unnamed. This coming up from the pools has been witnessed just once by a beaver hunter, Zachariah was his name, in the late 17th century. His flesh torn body was found along the riverbank, and before death ended his earthly sufferings, he gallantly tried to tell his story. Sadly, he could not finish, and in fits of shallow, halting breath and suffering mind and soul, death visited him with face twisted insanity. His name is not known outside the archived letter. The people of Ellicott Mills hurriedly buried Zachariah deep in the woods downriver with nary a cross or a marker of any kind. The grave was blessed, but he was not placed in consecrated ground because of the evil he witnessed. Okay, gatherings. My goodness. There's a whole fleet of those cold weather dudes there. Pretty good artwork by Wiley Perkay. He matches the story well. Although the frequency for gatherings deep in the valley of the Patapsco cannot be determined, these strange occurrences have been happening for at least the time period long ago in prehistory, when the dark valley was hunted by the ever-moving native tribes. The first gathering was witnessed from afar, and all further reports seem to indicate that numerous snowmen spend endless hours circling one another in the woodland, breaking tree branches into twigs and replacing the ones already in their snowy bodies. There is no sound save the twigs snapping, and all done as though a great rustling of trees. As the sun breaks, the deep black of night disappears, they all stop and disperse. And it is at this time that danger draws near in a rapid but silent rush. Hmm. This is a picture of a viaduct that's not too far from here. It's a bridge, a railroad bridge that crosses over. the Patapsco River. As I said earlier, the uh, railroad here, the railroad station here was very significant. It's the first one in the country, the oldest one in the country, still in use in the country. So, but this is the Thomas Viaduct, a little bit down the road. It was an important site to have during the Civil War. Union soldiers had it and were constantly defending it against Confederate takeover. So, reported sightings in 1863. During the Civil War, many out of state soldiers of the Union Army were stationed at the camps and fort at the mouth of the Patapsco Valley at Elkridge and Relay. As a precaution against the rebel sympathizers in Howard County, that country, and along the train line, several outposts were sited along the river, starting at the railroad viaduct at Relay and spaced up the river to Ellicott Mills. Okay, so that viaduct, the Thomas Viaduct, is in Relay, and again, it's not very far from here at all. Let's see. As the story is told, a Massachusetts trooper was found by his relief on an especially cold and deep snowy morning in a state of shock. As the low gray clouds hung over the valley, driving freezing rain up and down the riverbanks, the crazed trooper was removed to a general military hospital in Baltimore. In the almost warm hospital, the soldier died a convulsive, ugly death a week later, never uttering a word, never eating, drinking, or relieving his toilet issues. The terrorized soldier, in fact, never, in his never ending fevers, left a detailed pencil sketch at his bedside as his life ended. The drawing appeared to be snowmen roasting brains over a fire on the end of sticks. The drawing was considered the rants of a crazed and dying man and was quickly dismissed. Years later, the drawing was sold at the estate of a doctor to an ex-Confederate cavalryman who was a famous attorney in the renamed town, Ellicott City. It went from Ellicott Mills to Ellicott City. And here is a photo. Here is that drawing, that very drawing of the snowmen having a brain barbecue there. And look at that. Those sticks for their arms are useful for several things, aren't they? Yes, they are. I am going to turn this for a minute and let you look. Shake it all the way around over here. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, well, it's getting dark out there, isn't it? That building that I think you're looking at, yeah. Okay, that tallest building right there. It's 1, 2, 3, 5 stories. It has brick and stone and some siding. Okay, back in 1864, that building housed the Union's Patapsco Guard. It was Union troops here, local troops from the Patapsco River area. That was their headquarters. On the very tippy top floor up there, floor number 5, that's where they held the Confederate prisoners, many of whom are sick. Many died from the disease that ran rampant through Ellicott City in 1864. So I'll let you look at that for a little bit while I tell you some more things about this crazy place. Okay. Although there aren't any existing photographs or living eyewitnesses to the amazingly rare dance of zombie snowmen of the Patapsco Valley, this impression has been created by the artist from snippets in the town papers, deathbed confessions, and dabblings recorded in the Catonsville Insane Asylum. Let me turn you around so you may see. You're looking uphill at some old buildings that were standing here when the Civil War ran rampant and caused many, many changes here in Ellicott City. Okay. The skull dance. Woo! Awesome, yes. Okay, the skull dance. The dancing occurs on a full moon, deep into the night, and appears to be connected with an almost Native American type dance of giving thanks to the Great Spirit. Of course, happy hunting for zombie snowmen coincides with the number of missing men, women, and pet dogs and cats, particularly during a hard winter. It seems that trophy skulls and bones are paraded and clacked together as the zombie snowmen glide across the ice over turnpike and river. The rhythm of the bones is said to be hypnotic in nature and is the supposed reason for the exposure of any person hiding but watching this event. The sound draws them out into the open, and of course, they never are seen again. I guess until the next skull dance that they get to join. Okay, so I'm going to turn this puppy around. Let me just turn this around over here. Okay, now, way up the street there, right, you can see the trees and all next to that five-story building. Well, sitting way up there, can't see it from here, but trust me, it's there. Way up there is the Patapsco Female Institute. It's the stabilized ruins of a once beautiful finishing school for the young ladies whose fathers owned plantations down in the South. So these lovely young ladies were there to learn to do something other than do needlepoint. They were taught language and mathematics and just all types of things. Okay. And apparently the school has also been touched by this snowman zombie group of invaders. This one is called The Tragedy at the Patapsco Female Institute. There's the school. A nice likeness, too. Come on, get over here. Oh, it's fold that way better. Hang on. There we are. Okay, so the caption reads something about the girls wondered who it was that made all those nice snowmen for them to go out and play with. Ugh. Oh no. The school was established high atop the Patapsco River Valley, founded in 1837 as an academy for young women when formal female education was not emphasized. During the construction phase of the boarding school, several Irish workmen disappeared every winter, but the superintendent attributed their disappearance to the hate of the work and the love of drink for men of the Emerald Isle. The locals knew better. In brutally cold winter 1860, many of the young women were delayed in their train transportation south to celebrate Christmas with their families by the numerous high drifts blocking the tracks north of Ellicott Mills. Three young ladies from the Richmond, Virginia area were among the stranded, and they, on a lark, dressed as warm as possible for a free day in the mills, where they normally were forbidden to go unescorted. Returning to the school after dark, the ladies were greeted by a stunning sight of multiple snowmen all around the school and even on the inside, as the cold had claimed the interior with all the doors and windows open or ajar. There were no staff members or students in the building. A cold blast of wind knifed down through the valley and extinguished the remaining candles in the large building. Days later, not to anyone's amazement, the people in town reported the god-awful wind that night sounded like the shriek of young women. When the students returning to the school after Christmas break, the Richmond, Virginia ladies did not report. The headmistress telegraphed the families in Richmond, but never a word was returned. She attributed the lack of response due to the problems associated with the threatened secession of the South and left it at that point. War came in the spring of 1861, and it was in that very same month of April that torn and bloody female winter clothing was discovered along the riverbank. However, it was the crossing of sabers and the fire of cannons that sold papers and played on everyone's minds. It was very easy not to see or pay attention to the small missing persons notices in the Baltimore papers as well as in the Ellicott City Times. Okay. Panic in the ice house. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You can see what used to be the ice house. It's right across the street. How cool. Okay. Let me turn you, well, let me first, let me first show you the drawing by our apparently quirky illustrator. Look at that. Snowmen everywhere. Killer snowmen. Zombie snowmen because they eat brains. Okay, now turn around. Here we go. Okay, keep going, keep going. I have to see where I'm turning. Okay, go a little bit more. Okay, there you go. It's the building with the traffic light. The traffic light's right in front of it. It's that big stone building, right? It's got like 4 doors. It's got 2 on one side and 2 on the other. That's the old Patapsco Hotel. Once upon a time, it was one of at least 3, maybe 4 4, maybe 5 places for lodging and such. So that's the Patapsco Hotel. So back in the early 1920s, one particular winter was abnormally warm, and the panicked snow creatures were melting at an alarming rate, even in the month of January into February. At the time, the old Patapsco Hotel had fallen on hard times and had been abandoned with the modern age as a relic, a flea bag. Excuse me. However, the building was converted into an ice house with many supporting internal structures being removed to accommodate the ice making machinery in cold storage. Detecting the cold spot near the river, the creatures were drawn to the ice house and its deep stone cellar, where they gathered in the late hours to huddle and to survive another day. The need for survival was even greater than their craving for fresh brains. Survival was based on staying frozen and consumption of warm brains. In their hiding place, all the rats soon disappeared. It was the mid Sunday of February, and the spring thaw was near. While chasing a rat, the smallest creature spied through a hole in the foundation a deep snow upon the ground. The rush was on in the pre-dawn as the snowmen slid down the turnpike under the covered bridge and out into the frozen river banks and the ice-covered river. The rush to safety was so panicked that none of the creatures stopped to think about the fresh brains available in the farmer and his two horses as they crossed the bridge into town. As for the ice house, they never returned, and the old hotel was scheduled for demolition. As a survey was being conducted before tearing down the building, the young assistant noticed a pile of twisted twigs, rotten carrots, and a pile of dead rats with their skulls all opened and cleaned out. Not knowing what to make of this pile, the young man left the gravesite, never knowing that of what it really was. Hmm. Get ready. Come on back. Come back, come back, come back. Here we are. Hello, boy. It's dark. It is getting dark out, and I am sitting here. I don't usually sit here in the dark, but hey, there's a first time for everything. Okay, next up, the Ellicott Mills Gazette newspaper office used to be further up the street. Last time it was a newspaper office. It housed the Howard County Times. Now it's a bookstore, maybe something else. In the late 1800s, the date now lost to memory and record, a young man from New England above Rhode Island somewhere came to Ellicott Mills to start his career as a newspaper man with the Ellicott Mills Gazette, a weekly local rag of trite stories and plentiful farm advertisement. After weeks of writing ads and reporting a rash of cat thefts, the young man, lean, lanky, and cocky, with a tight cropped beard and a shock of deep black hair, found solace in the bars, and especially the one across from the train depot, where the beer and local women were both within his budget for such entertainments. Okay, so local bar is right to there. That was the Phoenix Emporium. They've moved up the street. The last flood, they'd had enough. And so the building stands idle. But that's what they are speaking of. So it was in there, you're looking at it, in that beer joint that the reporter learned the tales of the dark river valley and how the townfolk attributed the mysteries to strange doings by snowmen. Having a good laugh about the local lore, the young man, Brooke Van Heusen, took it upon himself to fabricate stories about the snowmen and to invent tales about them and their favorite snowman pub, the Coal and Carrot, poking as much fun as he could at the locals and their closely held legends. Van Heusen even took to cartooning the tales and developed a great following in the big city papers. But on the last night in town before his departure for a new position at a Cleveland newspaper, the cocky reporter took a mid January dare to walk the riverbank after midnight. His reward was to be a big cake, a big kiss promised by the well endowed raven hair mill worker who made the challenge and the promise. Self assured and emboldened by drink, Brooke Van Heusen took the dare and struck out on the walk. It was not long before a muffled cry came down the valley, which the mill worker heard from her Oella bedroom. Brooke never appeared for his editorial position in Cleveland. Ooh, can't imagine why, can you? Let me turn this around so you can see these drawings. The illustrator is really, really good. Very imaginative. Okay, so this was, okay, the zombie snowmen the night they came to town and caused whatever it was that they did. And here are the townies running from the crazies. Ooh. The townies running from the frosties. How's that? Okay. All right. Now. Okay. Winding down here. Okay. Couple more left. Here we go. This one is about a German POW during World War One or two. I have to look when I start reading. Okay. He's kind of like hiding or wanting to hide in Ellicott City. It's a hiding in plain sight. It's a cool drawing, right? Okay. German POW. I'm having trouble finding light to read by. We got some right there. Okay. German POW. There came a time back in the 1940s that German POWs were placed in Harry County by the U.S. War Department to help with the farming of the county. Most of the young men had either gone to war or moved to Baltimore and other large cities to work in the war-related industries. Because of the war efforts and patriotic feelings, the cult up on Fells Lane ceased to exist, and speaking of that evil was never heard again. During the heavy snows of 1942 through 46, many times a friendly-looking snowman was constructed by persons unknown. Whoa, he just did. Oh, wow. It was a red motorcycle. He was wearing red helmet, red jacket, and he just did an amazing wheelie all the way down that street on Good Woods. Oh, boy. Okay. Anyway, so, okay. Many times a friendly looking snowman was constructed by persons unknown. The rather large snowman was always placed on Maryland Avenue, just north of the train station. You're looking at it behind me. Oops, hold on. That's Maryland Avenue going up the hill there. So there's a car coming down the hill. That's Maryland Avenue. So children played all around, but all kept their distance. There was something about this particular snowman that made most feel very uncomfortable. The uneasiness kept the parents on their toes and assured that their children were called home well before the shadows of a long winter's night began to creep into Main Street. During those brutal winters, household pets went missing with regularity, but only one person was never accounted for. It was one of the POWs. The story goes that a Nazi officer escaped from a nearby farm and was reported to have made his way along New Cut Road, which is up the hill off of Maryland Avenue to the right, and passed in front of the Catholic Church as he headed to the train station to hide in a boxcar going into Baltimore. Church is up on the hill too. Maybe see a steeple. During the as okay, all right. During no. Okay. It was dark, moonless that night as the German escapee approached the curious snowman to make his way to the station. No one recalled a muffled scream, and the blood-stained snow was no curiosity to any of the children the next day. As for Captain Fritz, he was never reported as being recaptured. He was never accounted for by the U.S. War Department, nor back in his German hometown after the war. As for the local people, they never gave the escape a second thought. The only good Nazi was a dead Nazi. In the beer joint across from the train depot, over there, a traveler inquired about the large snowman he saw the previous week when he was passing through town. But no one answered. Righty. In conclusion, mistakes are made. Much to do has been presented in the first 2 decades of the 21st century, trying to convince the public to buy into the haunted Ellicott City story. Of course, most people just consider this as a jolly way to spend a few hours in and around the unique mill town. One description of possible enjoyment is as follows. Ellicott City has been called one of the most haunted small towns on the East Coast. The Howard County Tourism Council runs a ghost tour that visits several places with reputations for paranormal activity. Among these are the mansions Lilyburn, Hayden House, and Mount Ida, the B&O Railroad Bridge that crosses over Main Street, the old Ellicott City Firehouse, and the Patapsco Female Institute. The horrible thing about these bonus old wives' tales that are spun anew as Poe-like tales is that they are in part the thread of life from the same wheel that knows the truth of the spectators of ice and snow, no heart, no warmth, no conscience to subvert their diabolical cravings and lust for the taste of warm brain served in a freshly cracked skull. If you are a part of the Haunted Ellicott City tour and find yourself somehow by mistake alone by the river, remember it's a cruel, cruel place in the depths of winter. And as you head for the lights of town, beware your steps, but make them quick. Mind the night sky for the moon, and do not stop to study the shadows between. the leafless trees. And there you have it. There you have the legend of the zombie snowmen of Ellicott City, written by Jerry Lee Farlow and illustrated by Wiley Perkay. Now, if you like this, okay, if you thought this was cool, so I'm just trying this, okay? I just wanted to do something fun for Halloween. But if you like this, there's another book, okay? There's a sequel with more stories. So if this is a thumbs up, then I will plan to do that one sometime in the near future as well. Meantime, weekend's coming. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thank you for joining me. Your support is always welcome. I have an account on Buy Me a Coffee. If you want to contribute to my platform, that would be much appreciated. So take care. Bye. Hopefully, I'm not going to run into any zombie snowmen on my way to my car. It's dark. And I am in the most haunted place around. Woohoo. Good night, everybody. You're welcome. Oh, good, Sarah. You liked it? Cool. All right, Tina. Shall I do number 2? Not tonight, but another night. I'll do them at night because this isn't too bad sitting here. And I do feel safe enough because I'm in the downtown area, although all the shops are closed. So the traffic's died down quite a bit, if you can tell. So anyway, all right. Thank you. I will do that. Okay, y'all take care. Bye.